Oh, hello friendly face of the internet. It's me, writer, director, and artist Cade Taylor. And if you're anything like me, you're probably pretty frustrated with the state of the world right now. You know, there's a global pandemic going on, we have atomic bombs, all sorts of things are out of whack, nobody seems to be happy, and every single institution we believe in seems like it's on the brink of collapse. But fear not. You see, ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to start my own country. I've always been a fan of secessionist movements, and well, when I was in middle school, I founded my own country in my room called Cadesville. It lasted about a week until my brother, in a fit of rage, tore it down, but we don't need to talk about that. Anyway, given my success rate, I figured, why not try to found the Cadesville 2.0? Why not try to found my own utopian kingdom? This Sunday, it's going to be my 23rd birthday, and so I figured, when better than to start your own legacy? So, therefore, on August 16th of 2020, it'll also be the date that the Kingdom of Cadetopia is founded. Now, in order to found a country, from what I've seen, there's a couple of essential things that we're going to need to cover. And first things first, I think that includes a flag. Because as history has shown us time and time again, nobody seems to take you seriously without one. So right now I'm thinking of possible designs for the flag, and things that come to mind off the bat are just a couple of my favorite things. All right. So now what I've done is I've collected a series of some of my favorite things in the world, and what those include is my favorite animal, which is a bear. Okay, so let's just select this, and it doesn't need to be perfect because once the country really takes off, we'll have people that want to embroider it for free, but until then, we'll just have to deal with what we got. If it's not clear, the reason I've selected these is because the things I seem to like most in life are playing guitar, red wine, and brown bears. And we're just going to fill that with one of our favorite colors, which is blue. That might also help win over the country. And now all we got to do is find a picture of our face, and we can just drag in one of my favorite pictures of myself, and we're just going to put that first and foremost. This way people will know exactly what the country's about, which is kind of me. And the final thing I think we need to do is just make sure people really understand what we're talking about, so we'll just write the name of the country across the top, and I'm feeling like pretty good about that. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's pretty much what it takes to make a flag, and I'd say I'm pretty proud about how that turned out, and at this point we're about 33% of the way to founding our own country. We still got a little bit of work to do, something I know the United States has, and you know, I'm no stranger to American history and the Founding Fathers. They made a constitution, and that seems important in a country. So we're going to create a constitution ourselves. Let's take a look at that. So right here, we have the foundation, so to speak. You know, this way people will take us seriously, because I feel like if it looked like the country was founded today, people would have a hard time buying into it. But this way, it'll seem more like an institution. Lucky for me, you know, I've been thinking about this for a while now, so I got a little bit of a couple ideas under my belt. So we're not going to call this the Bill of Rights because that's been taken, and I don't even know if I'm right. So we're going to call it the Bill of Cades. And I feel like the problem with the American Constitution is that it's so flippin' complicated with so many laws and stuff that, like, ain't nobody got time to read that. What I did is I pretty much took everything I cared about it and compressed it essentially into 9 laws, and let's just type those in. So the first section is going to be called Love of Humanity. Now we got to make this smaller than it's a title because that's egregious. After that we got Love of the World, and then the third section, which is Love of Cade, which is also, I would say, pretty much one of the most important sections. Under Love of Humanity, I think the first thing to write is you gotta love people, because we don't want anybody in this country that doesn't love people. B, treat others the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. I think it applies anywhere. I mean, Jesus said it, so it can't be that bad, right? And C, don't be mean. And that might be redundant, but, you know, better safe than sorry. Under Love of the World, first thing's gonna be protect the world, because we all live here and we all gotta love it. B, is going to be recycle properly. And we're going to give it a last little thing. Love nature, man. You know, nature's amazing. Plants are crazy. Grizzly bears are great. Can't argue with the results. And now we're on to the last section, which is love Cade. And this is more like the boring legal part of it, so we don't have to pay too much attention to what I write here. But Cade is the court. Cade is the legislator. Cade is king and will remain so until death. Now, I'm feeling like that is quite a good-looking constitution. And I can't really argue too much with what I put on there. Constitution. I heard it took the founding fathers months to write America's, and it only took me a couple minutes. So I'm not saying I'm more efficient, but it's a different time, and things have changed. So I have technology on my side, but I would say I'm doing pretty good. Got our flag, got our Constitution. So now we're 66% of the way there, and you're probably thinking, Cade, have you thought this through? Like, you made a great flag, you made a great constitution, but, where are the resources? It's just, have you ever founded a country before? Like, what are your qualifications? And don't worry, I didn't go into this blindly. I looked up a Washington Post article after Googling how to secede from the United States, and this is what it said. So you want to secede from the United States, a 4-step guide. And I thought, that's pretty digestible. So I scrolled down, I was curious. And there's a bunch of BS about Texas and stuff, and I don't really care about that. But, then it starts getting into the nitty gritty of it, and it says, option 1, ask politely. And I was like, bingo, because that's kind of what we're doing right now. The odds of success are quote unquote 0, but let's not get too hung up on that. Option 2 was amend the Constitution, and considering I'm not a legislator, House representative, senator, or anything like that, and probably won't be in my lifetime, that seems probably lower chance of success than asking politely, so we're just going to skip by that. Option 3 was withdraw by force, and I'm scrappy, but I've never been in a real fight, and I heard the United States military is no joke, so if it comes to that, it comes to that, but definitely don't want that to be our number one hope. Asking politely still sounds a little bit better, so we're just going to keep on scrolling. And the final thing, which is actually quite encouraging, was option number 4, await the collapse of the American experiment. And it said odds of success 100%, and I can't really argue with those odds. And honestly, it seems like that's happening right about now. So I figured if we pair option 4 and option 1, we might as well just get a head start and see where it takes us, but there's no harm in asking. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So with all that said, now it's like how to ask politely. And again, I looked to history, and I looked to our founding fathers, and I looked to the Declaration of Independence. And it had a lot of good things in there. Here's a transcript. So, we don't have to read this whole thing, but blah, 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 blah. We hold these truths to be self-evident, blah, blah, blah. Men are equal, blah, blah, blah. Unalienable rights, blah, 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 blah. Absolved from allegiance. And that's the language we're looking for. So, I'm not going to copy it exactly because I went to school and I learned that plagiarism is bad. So instead, I think we're just going to build off the template of our Bill of Rights, and we're just going to give it our best shot and see how these goes. Look at this document. Again, we don't want people making fun of us for not looking official. If there's one thing we can control, it's how we look. I feel like the founding fathers were very wordy, and so I'm not 100% sold on following their exact vernacular, but I think we're just gonna go in with the text and write the Declaration of Independence. All right, so now we just have to draft a nice little letter that's polite and hopefully will convince the President of the United States, Donald Trump, or Joe Biden if they get this letter a little bit late because the postal office is having some issues. Anyway, a letter that will convince these folks up top that I am worthy of independence from America, because America has left a lot to be desired as of late. That's how I'll state it. Through some people's fault, not everybody's fault, so don't get angry. We're not perfect, we're all human. But I digress. Let's flip and write this thing. 48. That's a good size. That's readable from a distance. And a lot of these people that are governing us are older and have trouble seeing. So if we do a bigger font, it might be a little bit more feasible for people like Mitch McConnell and other old men to understand. So I think I'll just start by saying I, Cade Taylor, state who I am. I'm not, trying to be secretive about this. Hereby, that's legal speak, decide to secede. I feel like it's just good to be upfront. Honesty is always rewarded. I'm not happy with how you've done things, and I feel like I could do a better job at leading a country. Please, we're gonna have to abbreviate. Please let me have my own country. We can be allies, but I won't be under your command. Let's just see. What did they say? Absolve allegiance. So we're just gonna say, I now absolve allegiance. This way they'll know that I put some thought into this. From the United States. Put that up there. And then we're just gonna sign it. Cade A. Taylor. Great. Put the old John Hancock on there. And then the last thing to do to make it extra official is give ourselves a little seal of approval. And all this will take is just doing this. And there we go. I think at this point we've really hit the three major staples of a country that is founding independence. First of all, cheers to you, hopefully future subjects of Cadetopia, the newest and greatest country on planet Earth. Declaration.png. And now you're probably thinking, okay, great, we've got a flag, we have got a Bill of Rights or Constitution, those are different, but I honestly sometimes forget how, and Declaration of Independence, so we're smooth sailing. We got it all in the works, but how are, people going to even know that Cadetopia is a country besides this video? And that's not a huge percentage of the population, unfortunately. But don't worry, fellow citizens of Cadetopia, fellow Cadesters. I think that's what we're going to call ourselves. What we're going to do is, like any, activist-oriented project designed to better the world, we are going to the one and only website where this could become a possibility, and that, which I don't know if you're familiar with it, is change.org. I've never started a petition on change.org. I've signed a couple. They get passed around Instagram, and I'll say, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a good thing to do, and it's free. But now it's the time to start my own. And so I think we're just going to walk through this together, start a petition. All right, our petition is human rights or politics? Politics. I like the sound of founding my own country. So we're just going to keep on going. Send it to the White House, the Senate, the President of the United States. I'm in California right now, so we're just going to generally send this off to California as an entity. Explain the problem you want to solve. The United States has failed us. I am your leader now. Join me in starting the great country of Cadetopia. All right, I feel like that covers the general gist of what I'm hoping Cadetopia is. This seems like it is gonna be pretty successful, so we're just gonna hit continue. All right, photo. I think what we're gonna have to do is we're going to have to upload our flag. All right. I like personally, I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like that looks great. I see no complaints there. We're gonna save and preview. Save and preview. Why is there an error? No, the government's trying to silence me. Why is it silencing me? What's happening? I think the government is onto us, and they're trying to start it off at the source. Wow, we're really not able to publish this bad boy. Why the F? The next petition I'm starting is to make California less hot. Okay, well, it looks like change.org is not going to be our avenue, so I guess what we'll have to say instead is that this here video right now that I'm making is the official Declaration of Independence of Cadetopia. I'm just going to have to read the message to you all right here and right now. So I think the first thing to do is to read our Declaration of Independence, or as we like to call it in Cadetopia, the Cadelaration of Independence. And Donald Trump, if you're watching this, I, Cade Taylor, hereby decide to secede. I'm not happy with how you've done things, and I feel like I could do a better job at leading a country. I now absolve allegiance from the United States. Sincerely, Cade A. Taylor. I feel like that's something we can all get behind, so we're just gonna X out that. 2, the Bill of Cades. 9 simple laws to govern a country. Why? We don't need all this legal mumbo jumbo. All we need is 9 laws, and I think that can pretty much capture all we need to capture. So, love of humanity. That's all. Article 1. Article 2, love of the world. Article 3, love of Cade. And the final thing to focus on is the flag of Cadetopia, which I would say personally looks pretty great. So there you have it, friendly faces of the internet. I think at this point it's almost pretty much official that I've established and founded my own country. I am no longer a citizen of the United States. I am now a citizen and the leader of Cadetopia. If you like to be a citizen, just comment below and I will grant you citizenship as long as you are not mean and abide by the 9 rules that I've set out. We shall see where this journey takes us. Hopefully one day change.org will let me make a petition, but until then we will keep fighting for the first step towards Cade dependence. That sounds wrong. Independence for Cadetopia. Until then, this is writer, director, and artwork Cade Taylor signing off. Cheers.